Hello, and welcome to the Spotlight session for this week. And we're talking about having a one priority week where you go through the entire week with just one priority. And we're going to talk about how to pick it, how to protect it, and how to practice it each and every week. And this isn't about productivity at all. It's about priority. And even though a lot of us want to deal with that productivity piece, we feel like we want to be, really, really productive. If we reframe it a bit and we focus on a priority instead, then it's about choosing just one thing and giving it your best energy. How does that sound? So if your week feels full or scattered, or you feel like you've been being pulled in multiple directions, today is about simplifying, about how to turn this week into a one priority week. Now, for me, that used to be a little difficult. In fact, it was pretty hard. And for years, I worked with other high achieving professionals. I even did some coaching in that area. And they all felt really super capable, but stretched thin because in elementary education, whether you're a teacher, a service provider, even a mom or dad, you have dozens of priorities to address every single day. And that even multiplies when you're working with children or you're the parent of a child with special needs. And so, what I learned through all of that is that it's rarely a discipline problem where we feel stretched thin. It's rarely because we're not disciplined, because we are. Many of us high achievers are super disciplined, and it's really not a talent issue. Thinking about, you don't have enough talent or expertise in the field. It's really not it. It's almost always a focus issue. So whether you're still in the workplace or you're happily retired and you're working on some other endeavor that brings you a lot of joy, or maybe you're an entrepreneur. And when everything feels important, then decision fatigue is what sets in. So then that's what I call a focus issue because we're feeling like everything is urgent, important, needs to be done. And when that happens, your energy scatters, your progress slows down significantly. So, one priority week, it's not about shrinking your ambition. It's really about structuring what you're doing. So, you're not trying to shrink and try to get out of doing things that need to be done. You're really just structuring your week so that you can speed up that progress. So, in order to do that, I would like for us to do a quick clarity scan. So, I hope you're ready. And I want to invite you to do some quiet reflection on your own, or maybe type it in the chat, your responses. But I'm going to ask you three questions in this clarity scan. So, let's get ready. Number one, what has been competing for your attention lately? What is it? Name one thing. Name several things. Just think about it. What has been competing for your attention lately? You can put it in the comments. You can write it down in your note. What has been competing for your attention lately? Number two, what are you trying to make progress in. And think about, what are you trying to make progress in too many places at once? So you're trying to make progress, but maybe you're focused on so many different things at once that you want to focus on. Think about what those are. And right now, you know, think about all those things that are so important to you that you make progress in. And then the final thing is for you to think about, if you just honored one priority this week, one thing, what would create the most relief or forward movement? So think about something that's been capturing your attention, competing for your attention, all these different things. What areas are you wanting to make a lot of progress in? Often it's more than one if you're a high achieving individual. And what would happen if you just honored one priority this week? What would create the most relief for you or the most forward movement? So we don't need to solve the whole month. And, like I mentioned earlier, in education, we are constantly spiraling through the curriculum every single day, every single subject. And we've got a lot to cover when we're going with all of those. Now I can't think of the name of them, but the goals and objectives for the students. And so we're focusing on a lot of things at once, and my brain kind of got ingrained in doing so many different things, spiraling through and doing things on a rotating basis so I can get as many things done in a week as I need to. But I want you to notice what stands out in all the things that you're thinking about, all of the things you want to make progress in, all of the areas you want to move forward. What is one thing that stands out? And you can think about it this way. What is something that feels important to you, but maybe it's not essential this week? Think about that. We're thinking about all these things, all these areas we want to make progress, but I want you to think for just a minute about what feels important, but it's not really essential that you deal with it this week. And in the education field, we have to do the same thing. We have so many things to cover in the curriculum that we have to kind of pace ourselves. And that's what I'm talking about here, learning how to pace yourself, how to reframe that high achieving passion that you have. So, because we all know that if everything is a priority and everything is drawing for your or competing for your attention, then nothing truly gets your focus, your hyper focus. So I want you to choose one priority. And some people think, wow, choosing one priority is neglectful because I have so many things that need to get done. And I want to give you a reframe on that. It is not neglectful, it is leadership. Self leadership, or in the workplace, it is your leadership knowing how to choose one priority over another so that you can move forward with focus and intention. High achievers often try to move 5 things forward at once, at least, but progress usually comes from protecting that one thing long enough for you to gain traction. And when you gain traction, you're unbeatable. So this week, it's not about intensity. For just 1 week, I want you to focus on consistency. One priority and being consistent in that one priority. What's that going to be for you? Now, I also want to help you integrate this a little bit. So I want you to kind of give yourself a little check-in. My one priority for this week is, and write it down on a sticky note in the comments. If you're watching via YouTube, put it in the comments below, and I would love to get in a discussion with you about what is that one priority you have for this week. And then we're going to add on to that just a bit. Once you've identified that one priority, what are you going to do to protect it? Are you going to put some boundaries out there? Are you going to block some time off? Are you going to make that decision, that one decision that needs to be made so that you can move forward in other areas? So to protect your one priority, you are going to do what? And you're going to practice it by taking this first step. What is the first step? What is that first step that you're going to take to practice focusing on just one priority? And I just encourage you to write it somewhere where it is visible. In your journal, like I said, on a sticky note in your planner, or put a reminder on your phone to remind you every single day, maybe when you're the most busy during the day, just a gentle reminder to come up and say, yep, guess what? That's your priority for today. So, and I want you to think about if choosing one priority feels simple, and, when you're talking on it in a chat with me here, but in real life, it's not as easy as we make it, as we're saying it is. If you feel like in real life you are having a hard time being able to focus on just one priority so that you can make that progress, then that's why I host the Clarity Kickstart calls. And I have a 45-minute session. I also have a mini session too, but I do have a 45-minute coaching call that helps people take all of those things that they're feeling scattered about, whether it's in their business or in their personal life, and turning it into one grounded next step that they can act upon. And I'll put the link down in the comments below for those of you who might be interested. And if you just want a little 20-minute chat just to touch base, I can put that link down below too. And another thing, if this kind of a focused reset helps you to breathe easier, then we have a monthly clarity challenge where we focus on the need or the value of slowing it down and building your 7-day plan. And we do that once a month here in the group. We don't go live necessarily. It depends on the month. But anyway, it's called the Clarity Challenge, and you can go to the events tab and see when that next Clarity Challenge is scheduled for. It's about an hour and a half long, and it gives us plenty of time to really dig in and help you find what that priority is for you in your business, in your personal life, in your career, and then how to protect it and how to practice focusing on one priority. So I hope that this is going to guide you through this coming week. So thank you for being here with me, and we are going to touch base next week for another spotlight session. Talk to you later. Bye bye.